On this episode of the Third Gallon Podcast.
We're gonna sell that gamer Kitsune bathwater.
No comment.
After defeating the mighty cockatrice.
Not too long after, on the road, you were attacked by the penis beast, the cockatrice.
We can't have normal names.
The beast.
Giant comma penis.
The intrepid adventurers lick their wounds.
Nug has a broken leg.
I don't think my leg's in the best shape.
And uncover new mysteries.
Strange things have been happening in our village. You arrive in a time of great strife for my flock.
They finally make it to Kaidwin.
You're the TTRPG equivalent of driving on the wrong side of the road.
Now.
You know what, Reynard? Geralt suddenly said. I also prefer you as you are now. Talking normally. Back in October, you were using infuriating moronic mannerisms. Pardon my word, Wisher. I'm a knight-errant, chortled Reynard de Brofrin. Have you forgotten? Knights always talk like morons. An excerpt from The Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski.
And we're back live from the cockfight.
Oh no.
All our contenders are here, resting it off.
That's illegal.
Kat, your
Nope.
thoughts?
I hate you all.
That's about right. We'll see you next time on TTRPG SPN.
God.
Welcome to episode 11 of season 2 of the Third Gallon Podcast.
Hi.
We are
Hey. Hello.
ready for this banter
I'm like lukewarm.
because the more we talk,
Go do a lap.
the less I have to actually run this game today. Mm-hmm. And you know what? As a GM, as someone who likes to GM,
Sometimes just don't wanna.
that's fine. That's totally
Yeah.
fine with me.
I don't want to do it.
I don't like prepping, but I like DMing itself.
Oh, I love DMing itself. I'm not sure if it's my inner control freak, my inner obsession with details, or what have you. But I love GMing. I actually enjoy GMing a little bit more than being a player.
It was great. That means I got to be a player soon. Off the bat when we started.
But hey,
It's like a dream
say
come
you
true.
were going to be a player, Derek. What's your character
Derek's a
creation process?
You calling me a player?
Honey,
Aw.
I've been married to you for more than 5 years.
You know for a fact that I have model paint on a shelf in my room. I have no game other than game mastering.
Demon on the roof!
We were talking before we hit record about making characters because Drow is actually in the process of making a Pathfinder First Edition character.
Characters right now. I'm
Two
making
characters.
a level 14 5e character and a level 6 Pathfinder First Edition character.
When are you playing the 14th level character?
Tomorrow.
And you're doing magic stuff?
Yes.
I do not envy you.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah, you poor soul.
Poor unfortunate soul.
14th level fighter, easy.
Easy peasy.
Piece of cake. Pump that out in
your
like
weapon,
20 minutes
pump
to
it
30
out.
minutes.
Yeah. But we were talking about this. Like, what is all of your like processes? Like, how do you go about the process of coming up with a character?
I want to go first because I don't have a lot, so I can be quick.
Yeah, go. You got this.
Go.
I don't really think I have a process. I used to write like stories back and forth with friends and all, and Drow and I did a few that got pretty long.
I miss that.
Me too. But like when I create a character, I kind of just have like a feeling as to what I want them to be like or an inspiration. And then kind of like build a class and race around that. I am notorious for playing humans and humans only. Just about.
Are great.
But I don't know. I just kind of like get a feel for like what I want them to be like. And then I have an idea in my head. But after a couple of sessions, their personality tends to flesh itself out in session. I don't always come in with an idea of who they are. I mean, that's kind of just it. Like I get a feel for who they are, mid-session. Like for instance, building Kali, I was like, I want to play an elf who's a totally awesome with a bow type person, like really traditional Lord of the
Phenomenal
Rings
archer.
style archer. And I didn't anticipate that she'd become prim and proper and practically a Karen until we started playing. But I think she's not a hateful, like she's like part Karen. But like, you know, these are things you discover as you go. I put an idea in my head. It might change after a session or two.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't think we've talked about this on air. That's a big part of our process with the show. You'll notice, listeners, that both seasons, our characters have started out knowing each other, and we come into it already knowing a little bit how to play. Basically, when we start a new season of the show, usually we're doing it when the other season is wrapping up.
Yeah.
And the process is we all like read through as much of the rules as we can and make characters together in a session 0. And then we also play through a test session with the characters that presumably we're going to play in the final form, but they could change.
We usually say this won't be our final character, but they have so far have all been our final character.
I mean,
Yeah.
I changed some stuff about Viverwin.
Yeah. And they do like morph like that, but like kind of it lets you
Yeah.
find your footing.
Yeah.
Changed the name.
That is true. That's true.
I changed.
They were originally Vafres.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
changed the
Vaffy. Yeah.
Yeah, Vaffy.
I changed Inef from more of a blacksmith, like, you know, the forge idea to this improviser idea just because of, you know, I looked at the form of the game.
I changed Nug. Not at all. Nug is Nug.
Nug was, you knew what you were going to play.
The moment we started playing this
the
game.
moment we start, well, I think the moment we announced what we were going to do.
I know
Not
exactly.
announced, but
Jacob
settled.
puts a lot of planning into his characters.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but here's my answer to the question.
Well, hold on. Before you
Oh.
get into that, I say all that to say the reason we do that is because we do these shorter seasons. A lot of the time, we don't have the time to do 2 or 3 episodes of these people meeting each other.
Because
Yeah.
that can take a while.
And like if we do shorter season, that happens over and over again. So we like to kind of kick it off with everyone already kind of knowing each other.
If we had a longer
media
form,
stress.
if we had
Yeah.
a longer form, we could have people meet each other during the adventure, but it's just not worth it when our stuff is relatively
And
short.
another thing is like, not only do they all know each other, but like we also don't have to put as much effort into backstories as you do when you're planning to play for like a year or 2 of,
Yeah.
of a campaign.
Which is funny because so far all of our characters have had pretty good backstories,
Right.
even the Forbidden Lands ones, as
Right.
far as I
You
know.
say that, but I don't
Oh,
know how
I
much of a
did.
backstory Kali had.
Dreamin' had backstory.
Cahoon didn't have much backstory at
Oh,
all.
well, I take that back. The Witcher makes you have a backstory.
Yeah, it's part
No,
of
I
the
like
character.
It has a
process.
generation
It
thing.
helped you generate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of liberating because we get this chance to already have the role play of meeting each other done.
Yes.
You get a chance to work out your character before you go on air, and then you don't have to worry about the backstory as much. So it's part of the format. But yeah, I won't hold you up anymore because I can tell you're bursting at the seam to talk about your
This
process.
is why I wanted to go first.
Drow.
In Pathfinder, I like to look at all the different things that I can be. I like to pick out whatever I think would look the coolest. I like to pick out whatever I think would be the most flavorful, and then I try to make it work.
And then you play a Drow Arcanist.
And then I play an Arcanist.
Or sorcerer.
How many Arcanists have you played? In
5.
Pathfinder? Oh my God.
It's a fun class.
Well, I mean,
Atlas was fun to play.
I can't blame you.
They're not all the same thing. I've got Arcanist, which is Cetus. I've got the Exploiter Wizard, which is between an Arcanist and a regular wizard. Wizard with access to Arcanist abilities, which is Zifa. And
Safe.
I'm playing tonight the one-shot character, which is it's really just turned into Zifa again. It's a Kitsune, black and white Kitsune, follower of Nethys. I think I'm gonna name this Del Belfine.
Oh my God.
No comment.
We're gonna sell that gamer Kitsune bathwater.
Can we ban a member from the podcast?
If we had one more person, we could try to vote with an overwhelming majority. But no, we're just stuck with all of us right now.
But yeah, I really like casters. I think that casters are more fun than melee. I've been melee a few times and it never really stuck with me. So I know what I like. I try to do things different each and every time. I like seeing how far I can delve into something and have it be the same premise but a different execution. I've got 3 different satyr bards
I think you just have a handful of things you really, really, really like, and you try to deviate from them.
No, I
But
know
then you
what
get that idea and it comes right back, you know?
I know what to do. I like having the premise down
Uh-huh.
and being able to explore the character differently.
Well, whenever you come back here with your 18th Arcanist Wizard, we'll be sure to ask about what all their different cool stuff is, because knowing Pathfinder First Edition, you could play 18 different Arcanists
18 different ways.
With each having completely different spell lists that don't overlap except for maybe
Strength
cantrips.
Arcanist. Strength Arcanist.
Go on, Jacob. Let's hear your
You
process.
say that, but the Wood Wizard does exist.
That's fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I typically, because it started to change lately, is I'll decide what class I want to play, and then I will make that and build the backstory later. And if you're determined enough, you can make it work. My two biggest examples is when we did our Reign of Winter game, I wanted to play a fire kineticist. I made Drinder, and then I built his backstory to fit the beginning of that adventure path. But even bigger example is if you were to listen to Pavel's backstory, you would think, because he is basically a KJB for the witches in Urison in Reign of Winter. You know, listens to people, assassin, takes out people, does what he's told. You would think rogue or maybe some kind of fighter, but no, he's a shifter. And all I just had to do was make a few tweaks in the background, and I was like, that fits just right. So I wanted to play a grapple shifter, and then I built his backstory afterwards. But lately, I've been having some fun thoughts about characters I want to play, and I have no idea what class they're going to be. And that is a fun place to be in. I also try not to play the same class repeatedly, but I've broken that when it comes to kineticists, because Drinder died.
Yeah.
Before you got to the level you wanted.
At the level up point to where I wanted to get him for some fun stuff is when he died.
Yeah.
I was
The
a little
fight
salty.
of.
Not just like, oh, he was you're trying to get to 9, you
Yeah.
died at 8. You died.
When the party leveled up to 9.
Yeah.
Drinder died in that fight.
The thing that happened, at least the way you worded it at that exact point in time, Derek, was he got killed by a shadow. Whenever you get killed by a shadow, you arise as a shadow. We killed your shadow, and then we leveled up from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sure did do that.
And so that made me a bit salty. So I've played 2 other very short-lived, like no story, just like dungeon crawl campaigns in which I played other kineticists. But, you know, not the same.
Oh, I want to add, Drow mentioned that they like to play magic-based characters and stuff like that. I'm almost the entire opposite, and I prefer playing non-magical melee or distance, like martial-based characters. And the only time I really jumped out of that was with Atlas and Yura, Yura's the druid, and I fell in love with the druid class. But Atlas was my one character who was full of himself and a magic user, and I tend to play somewhat insecure characters and such. So that was fun, jumping out of my comfort zone.
And I guess I'm a nice little mix, because while I do enjoy melee, I also enjoy things that aren't quite magic, but magic adjacent, like the kineticist. Or if we're playing 5e, I've basically slapped myself into is a magic class, but is melee.
Yeah, you're
like
druid.
Druid of the Spores, or the
Court.
The court,
Oh,
or
court.
I have a Hex Blade, Circle of the Blades, or Pact of the Blades, and then I also have the Arcanist, which is the more melee one with the companion. And it's just, that's my shtick there. There's supposed to be magic, but I take all of the
Artificer?
melee. Artificer, that's right. I take all the melee bits, so I make them get in the combat, even though they can do magic. And it's dumb, but I love it. But yeah, I typically do class first, then backstory. But lately, with the podcast and a few other things, they either happen all at once, or I have the idea of a character first, which is, you know, it's new and it's fresh. I like it.
That's pretty good, yeah. You were asking me, Drow, how I go about this. And I have a very simple answer, is I don't. I just run games. I haven't made a character, and I don't know when.
How did you make Jade?
Oh.
Yeah, tell us that one. That's a fun one.
Oh, we want to talk about
That's
Jade?
complicated. That's
That
a
is the most complicated
gunslinger
character.
Magus.
Yeah, so Jade was the replacement for my original character that started out in 3.5,
The Italian.
the Italian paladin,
The Italian
Dayrak.
paladin.
Battalion.
Battalion.
So
Palatalian.
he died, and then he ended up getting brought back because we were just stupidly high level.
He got better.
But
got better.
I vowed to play something different because of that. I wanted to have him be scarred from it and not want to go adventuring afterwards. So I made Jade, which was a half-orc gunslinger magus. Magus in Pathfinder is I think it's called a 2/3 caster.
Two-third cast. Typically melee magic. Typically.
Yeah, so basically the whole gist of Magus is that you can do this thing called Spell Strike where you cast your spell. If it's a touch spell, you can cast it through your weapon. There's a whole lot of fun stuff you can do with it. But I found this archetype in Pathfinder where you could basically do any spell that had ranged touch. So this is like what was it? One of those
Shocking Grasp.
and Snowball.
Yeah.
Snowball is a big one. Shocking Grasp is touch. Range touch is like Snowball. And you could cast them through a weapon.
Or through an arrow is what it was originally meant for.
Well, it was worded as ranged weapon. So it was generic enough for it. So I found out that basically you could cast spell through gun. And gun hits against touch AC. So boom, boom, wow, you know?
Yep.
I don't know where I got the idea from it. I think I've just always had a thing for girl with gun,
Yeah.
especially half orc. And the thing is that's funny is that sounds like a kink. It's like, oh, it's gonna be this badass girl with a gun. But then I reversed course from that like base idea and said, no, this is a nerd. This is someone from the like Magic Academy
nerd.
that got kicked out for
Reasons
like against unfair reasons and is just on a revenge quest. So like she has big goggles that make her eyes look ridiculous. And Jade has the lowest charisma of any character I've ever played.
You play it.
And I play it really well. It's just,
Especially toward my character.
she just doesn't like, I don't want to say she doesn't take shit. She just is very, she picks.
She's a bitch.
She's just a bitch. Like she's not
She likes
outright
to poke at you.
mean necessarily.
Well,
She slaps back and is very sarcastic.
It's almost
This is
like
the younger
she's-
sibling that did not get punished enough.
Yes.
It's almost like
yeah,
she's
all
not.
right.
Does she know that she's mean?
Yes.
Or is she not socially aware enough to recognize it?
She knows.
She
yes.
knows?
Part of
yes.
part of both, honestly. Yeah, but your character also has like social.
Oh yeah, no, my character had social issues too, so they were gonna clash.
Yeah, so your character.
It's fun for them to
I
clash.
forget what you did, but you just kept pissing her off so much.
And she pissed him off.
It's just Owen.
Owen
Owen can
ended
make
up getting
people
in
angry.
canon therapy. Okay.
I think like because I joke about girl with gun, but like I think I just see a character and I try to figure out what the mechanics are.
Yeah.
And usually along the way, I find some just fun ways to blend mechanics that aren't really thought out. So I think she ended up being like Gunslinger 1, Arcane, Archer, Magus, whatever.
We are at now. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was really fun. I could only ever play her in that game because of how high our ability scores
She
were.
was mad.
Yeah.
Super multi-ability dependent.
Very mad.
My favorite thing besides shooting spells was I really leaned into the wealth and spell access we had, and I had just a ton of back pocket first and second level spells. So I remember one time we were in this cave and you had like an invisible thing and I had glitter dust.
Yep.
I forget. It was just like utility spell after utility spell, you know.
That's the only time I can recollect glitter dust actually working.
Yeah. I got you.
And you got me like entirely.
I forget. There was a couple because you got me alone in a room too, and I pulled out a couple like Dimension Door, Glitter Dust. It was a good combo. Jade it was like she could do damage at range, but she didn't out damage anyone who was built for it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't keep up with the sorcerer or the monk. but I could do reliable damage.
You did large amounts of damage when you did damage.
And then I also buffed and had just a ton of utility spells.
A lot of stuff that didn't require saves.
Yeah.
Right. Because my
You're
DCs were so
a
low.
half caster.
Yeah.
My DCs were so low.
And I kind of like it. It's because you kind of built the backstory out of Jade. I remember because you've had a problem before, very small one, where you wanted to have a character, but there was no way of making it. Because at one point you wanted Dayrak to be like Talion from Mordor, but there was just no way
to do it.
Yeah.
You know what would do it though?
An
Arcanist.
Oh, shut up. I wanted to do that. Dayrak, man, I could spend an hour talking about. He is also multi-classed and confusing as hell.
Now he is. He was not
He
always
used to
that
just
way.
be a pure paladin.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Daddy actions.
Yeah.
Dayrak.
I mean, if you think about me, the real answer to Derek, like, how do you make characters? Complicated. Because we have the most recent ones are Jade, Dayrak's Revision, which is a multi-class and a prestige class. And then
These 3 different classes.
the other class, I just remembered the only other character I've made then was my homebrew Witcher.
But that's, but you're right, because the complicated ones are the fun ones. I remember the first time I made Konar, my dumb barbarian, who is at this point just a regular barbarian, I had him as a blood rager with 2 archetypes that got rid of his magic and replaced it with rage powers.
No, you know what I learned?
So I took
Never
a blood
multi-class.
rager and I turned him into barbarian.
Yeah.
God.
Never multi-class.
Kineticist.
But
Yeah.
We're not here to play Pathfinder.
Apparently, my most recent character is so complicated. I wrote the class for it to play it.
Yeah.
So.
I still think that you could get Talion from an Arcanist.
It's just he wouldn't slap hard enough.
Okay, you only need like 1 level of Arcanist to get the dimensional slide. It's electric. Anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
But that's also translated over to the Witcher now that I think about it, because you know what I said? I want Nug to be a Witcher in every way except actually being a Witcher.
Yeah.
That's your strategy, isn't it? It's like, how can I
get here from this?
How can I do this in a thing that's not supposed to do it?
How can I get melee from magic user? How can I get Witcher from not?
You're the TTRPG equivalent of driving on the wrong side of the road.
You're just pulling pieces apart from something, reshaping it, and the shadow that it casts look like this.
Picks up a knife, picks up a gun. I can make a knife gun.
You are right. Complicated is fun.
Yeah.
Hadn't even thought about it.
No, I like simple and effective.
Yeah, there's a big argument to be made for that. It's just when we were as steeped in that game as we were, you can just really crack it open and do some stuff.
I think
with
it's
it.
also, you two are both really strategic, and I like simple and effective because I just like it to work and not have to concentrate too hard.
Yeah.
Like Jacob is a strategist, you're a strategist. I mean,
well, I get mired down in being a DM, unfortunately.
You love it.
I do. I think I've said this before. I'm one of the rare people who honestly enjoys GMing more than playing. Much to Jacob's pleasure.
I like DMing, but when Derek started DMing his own game and I could be a player, I was like, I've done it. I got them to play so that I can play now.
You played the long game. Oh, man.
see, I told you, strategist.
And now we're on a podcast.
Well, you know how long that took?
300
years.
Oh, wait,
that's the rest of the wrong one.
game.
I know.
It took spheres of corruption, congratulation. Conjunction spheres.
Conjunction spheres.
Sphere
Conjugating spheres.
The conjunction of the spheres.
There we go.
Sphered.
Look, I told you I'd get it eventually.
Oh, man.
All right, it's been fun. You guys need to leave my house.
Oh, my God.
Conjunction junction.
Well,
What's your function?
I will say, Kat, the benefit of being on this show is we keep playing new games, and Jacob and I really don't have enough time to crack open a
It
game.
helps so
Yes,
much.
thank God.
and learn it.
Not true.
It makes me look less ineffective.
We
I love
all
it.
start on the same playing field.
That's what I love.
But like by the time we get a handle on everything,
yes,
the characters have been made and we're a few episodes in.
Yeah.
Everyone starts on the same playing field. Well, I don't want to start this game because this is one of those sessions where I just feel like bullshitting and talking about playing and not actually playing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why.
I told you not to drink.
No, that's not it. I felt like this before I started drinking.
Okay.
Construction of the vodka.
It's mead, actually.
Mead.
Don't make me get out DM's little helper.
No, it's just.
No, we should just try and see what happens.
You gotta slurp
Do it for the fans, Derek.
Oh yeah.
Pineapple.
Keep drinking water.
Bark.
I know you said pineapple, but it sounded like you said pie nipple.
Pineapple.
Ew.
Pineapple.
Ew.
Straight from the teat, the pie nipple. Got fresh pie milk.
Apple juice.
Pie cheese.
We are.
Peas.
Peas.
This
This needs to be the lost banter.
Lost banter. The world of the Witcher.
The worlds collided in a cataclysm known as the conjunction of the spheres. If I don't do the intro now, I don't know where we'll end up. Chaos has filled the world as vampires, ghouls, trolls, humans, and other monsters poured into the world.
Bark.
The Witchers, mutated by magic and alchemy, were created by human mages to stem the tide.
Now the mist is gone.
Now that wait.
I did it.
So you chose the best spot for that.
I know.
Hundreds of years later,
I rolled a 10 and exploded that 10.
monsters are rare, but evil remains.
But
As war ravages the northern kingdoms, monsters lurk without and within in the world of the Witcher. Forbidden land.
oh goodness. Listen, on the last episode.
In the last
episode, we destroyed the cockatrice.
In the last episode of the Third Gallon Podcast.
Destroyed is kind of a strong word.
I ripped its leg off with an arrow.
Yes, but like one of us is halfway down our hit points. The other one has a fractured leg.
We proved that cock can suck back.
Oh no.
I hate it.
But before we recap completely, let's get back on track here. We gotta hand out some
It's
IP.
Are we getting 6 even though we killed a cockatrice really hard?
7%.
But we got extra already.
That's an IPA.
you get you're gonna
try.
Fucking God, you all fired. You all get
You can't
6
fire me.
I'm not going to quit. I like this too much.
You all
just go home.
You all get 6 IP or improvement points. How are you going to spend?
I'll go
your
first
improvement
again.
points?
I upped my awareness to 3.
Ooh.
I added a point to... Oh, no. I upped my awareness to 3, and I brought my silver coating up to 4, which cost a lot of my points. And then I upped I added 1 to human perception.
Wouldn't it be great if Nug just died before he got his silver?
I know, because we're getting it today.
But no, I moved it up to 4.
It is happening right here, right
I
now.
didn't have enough to make it go up to 5.
It's
I was going to
happening
have
right
such
now.
a giggle if you got offed by a cockatrice moments
would have
before
been
getting a silver
Drinder
coated
all
weapon.
all
over
over
again.
I would have quit.
Then he would have quit.
I have had my wants snatched from me seconds before I should get them after waiting years. Never again.
This is why we play
Yes.
shorter seasons.
Now I'm level 4 in silver coating.
Nice.
But I didn't have enough for the next one, so I put it in a bunch of other things.
All right. That's pretty cool.
So,
What'd you get, Drow?
put 1 into awareness.
Oh.
Nice.
I spent 2 points to get my spellcasting up another 1.
Yes.
Nice.
It's 3. I put 2 more points into In Touch. So that takes my vigor up to an astonishing 11.
Nice.
Nice. That'll
right
help
now-
out with your
Nice.
casting.
Right now, I only have 22 stamina. Smamina. I am fucked.
Mammon.
But yeah.
Yeah, you're
I got
pretty
one
wiped
IP
out.
left.
Okay. Nuggalicious.
I am putting some of it into Zweihands, and I don't quite know where the other bit's going to go yet.
Monster lore.
Never.
You are
So,
categorically against intelligence.
Figuring it out. I could start down the shrug it off tree, because that was my 5th point into Zweihan. But I'll find out. I'm learning more and more that I'm not too keen on a bunch of the men-at-arms skills now that I look at them, but that's okay. Nug is perfect just the way he is.
Perfect little nugget.
Perfect little nugget.
He is beautiful.
My
just
sweet,
the
sweet
way
Nug.
he is.
Sweet Nuggaline.
Ah, beautiful, my sweet,
Dipping
sweet Nug.
sauce.
Dipping sauce.
Oh my god.
When we last left our tray of nuggets, you had been with the 5 Under 4 company heading towards Kaidwin, crossing over the Kestrel Mountains. You had encountered a wrecked cart with old remains of a person inside.
Yeah.
You investigated and you came to the conclusion that some sort of beast did this. Not too long after, on the road, you were attacked by the penis beast, the cockatrice.
We can't have normal names.
The beast.
Giant comma penis.
A truly
Giant
terrifying
chicken,
cockatrice that we
comma,
teased.
rooster.
Oh, are we a cock tease?
Oh man,
You
I
did
can't.
this.
Can I? Bark.
Bark. And having fought and vanquished it, we pick up where we left off.
I'm on the
Viverwin
ground.
is on the ground, hit pretty hard.
Fucked up.
Nug has a broken leg.
I don't think my leg's in the best shape.
I got 1 point in first aid.
Viverwin, are you okay?
Your Nug looks like a bent paperclip.
Viv,
I see there's quite a bit of blood.
That was an impressive showing, everyone. Job well done. You're worth all the extra coin I forked in.
I'm quite hurt.
Oh, your leg is
oh,
fucked.
I told you we'd be good protectors, you know.
You are right.
I will cast a spell on you, Nag, to get you down the right path.
Do
Doug.
you need some healing?
He's not bleeding. I think he's just got a
No, I was
He's
talking
just
to
got a
Viv.
fractured leg.
I think I just need
could
to sleep it off.
craft you a splint. I actually have first aid. Could I use craft first aid to make him a little splint?
Sure, if you want to.
So
Or would your magic healing be better?
this lasts for 10 rounds. What is that like out of combat?
Oh, you're healing?
Yeah.
So it's different from whenever you want to heal a critical wound. Yours is a simple critical, or was it complex? It was complex, right? The fractured leg was
The
complex.
second one.
Yeah, complex. So if you want to heal that with the spell, it's going to take 6 uses of your spell, and you're going to...
Yeah, I'm not going to roll first aid.
Oh, you fumbled on the first aid.
Yep.
Okay.
You break his leg even more.
I was trying.
That doesn't feel
Oh
good.
dear, I'm sorry. So sorry.
Why would you bend it like that? That's not the knee.
I don't think it's supposed to do like that.
Ines
dear.
grabs
Oh, no.
the place of the fracture and just...
Just need a little set, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
Crack.
Spits in the wound.
You know what? I ain't feeling so bad. You don't have to or anything to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Let me just cast this.
So you're going to need 6 uses of your spell, and you will have to spend the stamina on that as well.
I never tried.
And you're going to have to make me a spell casting roll.
Oh, I really hope that we don't get anything else happening today. 30.
Yes.
Nice.
Rolled a 10 that exploded to a 5. Pretty sweet.
Oh, wow. So 30 on the spell casting. Yeah, you're going to pass it. So did you spend your stamina?
Yeah.
I got 10 stamina left.
All right. So you can take like an hour to rest and get your recovery and your stamina back. And also
recovery 10.
yeah. Also, like, we can just move on and you may just get it all back from resting. So
right, cool.
Viverwin takes the the popsicle stick splint off of Nug's leg and casts the healing spell and is able to heal your leg.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What I end up
so-
doing is I notice exactly how it's out of alignment, and I take the stick and I smack it into place 6 times.
So what does that make it now? Is it treated or healed?
It's treated. Healed takes time.
How long does healed take?
There's a table for it in the combat chapter.
Yes, I'm trying to find it. So if my body is 10, my complex wound will take 2 days to be healed. Now, is that 2 days of rest or 2 days?
Rest. So you'd have
Where
to basically.
does it say that?
I forget exactly where, but basically when it's talking about rest in terms of this is like
But it doesn't mention rest. It just has...
in this chapter when it's talking about critical wounds and healing. When it says rest, it's like basically taking the day to do nothing.
But this doesn't mention rest. It says, let me read it to you. After critical wound has been treated by a doctor or a mage, it must heal over time. Check your body stat and wound level on the critical healing table to see how many days you'll need to get rid of the treated penalty. Does it say you need to rest to get rid of it? If I'm reading this correctly.
Oh.
That might be for more physical healing or something like that, or healing over time, maybe. But this did not mention the word rest. It just says how many days you'll need for it to get rid of treated.
I see.
Oh, having that treated is already so much better.
I bet.
I'm gonna lay down, I think.
I think that I need to take a quick rest.
Oh,
Yeah.
Passes you her water skin.
I'm almost as good as new, spiffy. I can run a marathon right
I
now
got
if I needed to.
kicked across the road.
Yeah, you look. Can you do magic on yourself to heal?
Can I do magic on myself to heal?
If not, I have
pretty
some
sure.
healing.
Okay. Let's look at magic healing. So that is a D10 rounds. It is a 3 points per round.
I still have
R1D10.
sterilizing fluid to help raise your natural healing if you end
Okay,
up needing
so
it.
I get 9 back.
Pretty good.
And that is, I'm at 18 stamina now.
But you don't have a critical wound, so
Nope. 1,
And-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's really nice, actually.
Whenever we stop for, I guess, camp or whatever, Nug wants that silver on his sword.
I'll help pay for it, but I can't afford it all.
I've already got the stuff.
Sweet.
He's like, hold on.
Okay, now I'm only
Now.
5 down.
I'm ready for it.
Now.
I'm-
Now.
I need it.
Yeah, I'm only 5 down now,
Okay.
but I am at 16 stamina.
Yikes. Yeah, so you guys are able to rest. You don't find any other
Oh, we also
monstrous beasts.
raid the
We
beast
rate
for
the beast
parts.
for parts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go get some more beast bones.
Beast bones!
Which I will promptly
bone.
sell because they are freaking heavy.
Beast bones.
Are you
You
aching?
get 1 cockatrice stomach.
Oh,
You get
Cock stomach?
penis stomach.
Delicious.
You get 6 cockatrice carapace.
They have carapace?
Yes.
Like a bug?
Yes, they're draconoids.
Oh, okay.
You get 1 venom extract.
ooh,
That could be interesting.
And here's the important one.
and
You get 2 cockatrice tail feathers.
Ooh. I wonder if they sell good.
wait. So, what is this stuff used for then? Is there special items?
They're alchemy components.
Oh, they're all alchemy components.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I don't do a lot of alchemy. I should look into it and see if it could make me more efficient in combat.
that would be the kind of thing I imagine we'd get more into.
Do you want to keep track of the crown cost real quick?
Yes, that's probably what will end up being.
All right,
used for.
cockatrice stomach. That's going to be 92 crowns.
Continue.
The cockatrice carapace, which you got, I think, 6 of, is 75 crowns.
Each
Yeah.
venom extract.
I don't see that in here, so I'm assuming that's in the base book.
Give me them tail feathers.
The cockatrice tail feathers are worth 135 crowns each. And after you guys have rated this, Tomard says, "Oh, I offered to buy those tail feathers off you straight away. Very valuable in magical circles."
None of us does alchemy, right?
No.
No.
Sold.
All right, so you guys can split amongst yourselves 270 crowns.
I really wish we could find a town.
Who knows? Well,
I got
mean,
money
we're
burning a hole in my pocket.
We are making our way to one. Slowly yet surely.
What about that silver-coated sword you want?
Whenever we stop, because we haven't got to where we're resting tonight yet. Because who knows? Maybe we'll get attacked by another one or something.
No, you can go ahead and assume heal up and get your stamina back.
Here's a very important question for you.
Yes.
Can I spend a luck roll points on her roll?
Because it's for his sword.
No, but you can use a bottle cap.
I am going to use a bottle cap, but I was also going to spend all 5 of my luck points.
No, that's just for you, but you can use a bottle cap.
Would you like me to spend mine?
How many luck points you have?
5. I'm totally willing to do it. I would feel terrible if I broke your sword.
I mean, if you won't.
Besides, this is part of what I've been building for Inef. She is my first, what's the word I'm looking for? Support
Character?
class
I would
that I've really played.
never tell you to not, but
Besides,
I
have a feeling that,
stop
don't you get your luck back at the end of the day?
At the end of the session, so 2 episodes.
So not this one, but
Not the next episode, but the one after that.
yeah.
Just, help me out if I need
I
it.
protect you. I keep you safe. You're my pal.
I'm
When
gonna
was the last
spend-
time we used luck?
I haven't, so.
I have a bit.
No,
I've
I
tried to
used
use
it to
more.
make sure I got
So
across
yes,
the ice.
I'm going to spend my bottle cap to let her roll twice. And
and
Thank
I'm
you.
also going to spend. Should I spend all my luck or should I just spend some?
that is up to you.
I'm going to spend it all. Why not?
Yeah, boy. As long as we don't roll a 1.
All right, so go ahead and roll to apply silver coating to Nug's
Okay,
cord.
well, let me make sure I'm reading my
Can I
thing
give
right.
my bottle cap too?
No, 1 cap max per roll.
I have a feeling
you
that
for
with
the
all
thought.
my luck and a cap, I should be able to handle
Listen,
it.
you have 10 craft, right?
Yeah.
So you have a plus 14. Plus 5 will be a plus 19. As long as you don't roll a 1 twice.
Hey, don't say it. It could happen to me.
But
Okay,
the
here it is.
fun thing
A craftsman can coat an existing weapon in silver with a forge and a number of units of silver ingots based on the size of the weapon. You have the silver.
I do.
The DC for this roll is 16. If you succeed, add 1d6 silver damage to the weapon per 3 points you rolled above the DC. Also, spending all this extra stuff gives me a
Yes.
chance to get more.
Yes.
Failing the roll breaks the weapon. Okay, so I need to roll craft. Or am I rolling silver coating?
Silver coating.
Silver coating. Or just roll a d10 and add 14 to it, plus all the other stuff
Well,
we
there's a
add.
button that says roll skill. And then I can add
And what is the DC?
16. I haven't rolled yet, Jacob.
Oh, I thought I saw 600. Oh, that's math for the. Okay.
I get +5 for my luck, right?
Yeah.
And then I have the forge. Does that help me out? Or does that just mean I'm allowed to do it?
I think it might just mean you can do it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then I get to roll twice because I'm using a bottle cap.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's see what happens. Here's the first one. May DC 16 exact.
What?
You need to beat
Hold-
that.
How?
Yeah.
What you. 7. No, see, that should not be.
The stat's not checked.
So that is, in fact, a 26.
It would be a 26 if you added
Yeah.
my my crafting. I didn't know
Okay.
that happened.
All right.
So you're
I'm like, that
good.
can't be that low.
You want to roll again just for funsies?
Yeah, let's roll
Oh,
for. Well,
because
no,
we could
there's a
get a
chance
10.
I could get more D6s for him.
Ah.
So that should be a 26. Let me roll again and see if I get it this time. Plus the 5 again. Submit.
Submit.
All right.
I had it the first time at 26 was better.
26. That
So
is.
the DC is 16.
And you get an extra
1d6 silver damage for every 3 points above the DC.
so I had 10 points above this DC. I
that's
should
extra
get
3.
So
3.
here's the question. Does that silver damage apply to everything or only monsters?
How many things have we fought that weren't monsters?
Well, you never know when we'll fight bandits. Or the wolves are not monsters.
But no, Inef's, slaves at her forge, grinning ear to ear, concentrating,
So is this
sweating.
3d6 that you get to add onto your weapon?
Plus 3d6 silver damage.
If you want,
Okay.
I have it pulled up on my page if you want to see it.
I think the way, I can see it. I think the way it works is you have your normal weapon damage, and then you also have your silver weapon damage that only applies to monsters who.
So not only
Take it.
do I not do half damage to them, I do extra damage to them. That's what it
think so.
sounds like.
I think your normal weapon damage is halved as normal, and then you add the 3d6 silver damage that doesn't get halved.
It's not a silver weapon. It's specifically silver coated. That might actually make a difference. It's not the same. We should really have looked into this already, knowing that this is what I was going to do.
It happens.
Because you're coating the weapon in silver, which means you're cutting them with silver. Well, I'll look it up.
But it's not solid silver. I could see that being different.
Can we roll it as a silver weapon for right now? And then come back after reading?
It works the same way as being a silver weapon. What I'm saying is the way silver weapons work, your base weapon damage is still halved. The silver damage is added and not halved. Someone gave an example in the forum here that says if you have a sword with 6d6 and 5d6 silver, the 6d6 effectively goes down to 3d6, and then you also have 5d6 silver.
Okay.
It's still effective though, right?
I know. I hear you. So would I roll my regular damage and then roll 3d6? You'd half the regular and then do an additional 3d6?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Inef
it's
senses-
still better than what we got.
Inef senses Nug's disappointment and looks
Nug
really
is not
sad.
disappointed. Nug is thrilled. You have no idea how happy Nug is.
Oh, look at that, Master Witcher.
Oh, I am getting there. I'm becoming a right proper Witcher, aren't I?
I mean, now you have the medallion, you have the silver sword. Next thing is to learn signs and basically a Witcher.
Potions. He can't do the potions though,
right.
can he?
Well, maybe.
Not with living.
I mean, it's all about willpower and endurance, you know.
It's about drive. It's about power.
That's right.
We stay hungry, we devour.
You're gonna die if you ever find a Witcher potion.
Welcome to the jungle.
If I find anything other than a swallow potion, I'll die. If I find a swallow potion, there's like a 30% chance I die.
Is that how he dies? Doing what he
know-
loved?
Oh, sure. I'm a
Jacob.
Witcher. Yo.
Me spending my luck actually gave you an extra D6.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It was effective. That D6 will help us, I'm sure.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to go ahead and recoup your hit points
All of them?
and stamina, because you're going to be on the road a couple extra days before you get to where we're gonna be resuming things.
Oh, which means I my leg is treated then.
Oh,
Right.
50 stamina. I missed you.
There's a funny thing about traveling across Kaidwen. It always happens that somewhere near the middle of your journey, the rugged countryside seems to stretch out before your eyes, yawning toward the horizon. It's no wonder those of magical means prefer to teleport across Kaidwen whenever possible. At least, you are never more than a day's journey from another tiny, sleepy village with a run-down alehouse. This morning, you passed through one named Saints Crossing. This one's name is Riverbend. That's the name of the village, not the
Just
alehouse.
around it.
You stop
Just
that.
around the ribbon.
Don't make the mouse come on us.
The mouse is coming.
You aren't sure the name of the alehouse at the moment, but here you find yourself thankful that you can't get food poisoning from beer, and enough of it makes you forgive the rustic accommodations for another night. So you all find yourself in this small town in Kaidwen near the Alderwood called Riverbend. You're pretty close to where Tomart is going to be headed towards. He's headed towards a settlement, a mining settlement under the Bartok Barrow Mining Company. That's where his family is set up. But you're here in Riverbend. It's only like another day's journey or so until he gets where he's going. The Alderwood is basically the forest around you, but not necessarily. Like, it's more light forest, and then the Alderwood is this wild, untamed forest that you get to at the edge of human civilization. And you're staying in this inn. You don't know the name. I'm going to go show you guys the map of this little town that you're in.
Yay,
Little town.
Ooh.
Oh, look. There goes the baker with his tray each morning. That was French.
Ba, ba, ba.
No, that was perfect because it is French.
Yeah, I know. Viverwin's not French.
What?
There goes the baker with his tray each morning.
What a quaint little village.
So this
Like
is the
always.
town. You can see it's a farming village.
Significantly bigger than the last village we were in.
It's pretty. Did you
It's
make this?
beautiful.
I did make this.
Looks great.
Hold, everybody, job.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful map.
You're here in the middle at this inn. Yes, you can see with the two small buildings next to it. And there's a temple across the street from it.
A temple of what?
A temple of Creve.
Is there Serenray?
No. You
Wrong
stop that.
universe.
There's no Serenray. There's no Italians out here.
I'm just saying. Italians are Palor.
Italians are.
It's okay. You got me.
Oh God.
Hawthorne
Does
Lord.
that mean that Dayrak converted to Protestantism?
He just got
No.
handed off to a light.
Heavens no.
No.
Are you kidding me?
He
Catholicism.
just got handed off to the other version of that god.
Never.
During that pause, Jacob crossed himself.
Okay.
but with a
what about all
hand
the
up.
chickens in Dayrak's kitchen?
Yeah. Tarak
The ceramic
will never,
chickens.
ever let go of his Italian Catholic chickens.
Oh boy. So we got into this town.
So you came in last night. You had a good bit to drink with you and your company. And in the morning, the gruff dwarf innkeeper wakes you, banging on the bottom half of your door, kicking it with his feet.
Have we been stiffed?
Oh, 5 more minutes.
No.
Fire.
7.
No.
Nug will open the door as he is already up and ready.
Okay.
We're at what time in the morning?
It's probably like 8 in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. He's already up and ready.
Do I need to enter the door right now?
What's going on, Master?
Are we sharing
wearing
one room, all of
the
us?
innkeeper?
Are we?
Or do Viv
I mean-
and Inef get their own room?
I mean, all Nug really needs is a cardboard box.
Nug will share the room with anyone willing to share the room.
Nug, do you have your medallion on?
Oh, absolutely.
Your medallion
He is up and ready in his armor and everything.
Your medallion sits calmly on your chest. You
Does nothing.
I still don't even know what it does.
you see this dwarf. He's kind of like middle aged, balding on top, and he says, "You and your companions have a visitor from the Church of Creve."
Bro, a Church of Creve.
And he's the kind of dwarf where he has a long enough mustache that you can't see his mouth move.
What about his eyebrows?
Are you sure days here for us?
Yeah, you can't see his eyes either.
Are they in the tavern part of your establishment?
He lifts up an eyebrow to look at you, puts it back down.
Gross.
Like the eye patch?
Gross.
He seems he's keen to make friends too. He just ordered breakfast for all of you.
Well, yous let him know we'll be right there.
He's even paid.
Even better.
Breakfast.
He said that he's happy to wait. Something about virtue, patience, and charity. At least eat before you tell him to sod off.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for delivering the
Oh,
message.
of course.
He wiggles his eyebrows and
and
nods
this
and leaves.
couldn't wait.
And as he walks, before he walks away, Nug will be like, "Oh yes," and he'll, slide him a crown. Be like, "Thank you."
Thank you.
And this couldn't have waited until I was dressed.
Riverwind says with a blanket around her.
Lifts
What
up
does
an eyebrow,
Viverwind sleep in?
puts it back down ashamed. Sorry, miss.
Does Viv sleep in
it's all
the
right.
nude?
I'm the one
Just some lacy panties.
I'm the one that opened the door. That's on me. And then he'll close the door and be like, "All right, time to wake up,
You
everybody."
should know
I
Inef
dropped the
wears
blanket on his head.
a cute little nightgown. Like the little kid long one with
Aw,
with the ribbon and everything.
The ruffles. Yep.
Nug sleeps on the floor
A
facing
little
the
girlish
wall.
nightgown, full 6-foot woman sized.
Does Nug have heart boxers
That's, oh my God.
like old
No,
cartoon
they're just
style?
little goat
He's-
heads.
Yeah, I was about to say he's got boxers that has what looks like his little wooden medallion on it.
So does he sleep in his boxers?
No, but he has them.
I found a dicey crown.
Wait, does that mean Nug sleeps in the nude?
No, he's got pajamas.
He's got jammies.
He's got a little
Does he
hat.
have my first little Witcher pajamas?
No, he's just
I
got.
am a little
he's-
witcher.
He's got like a silken pajama set, really out of character, but he found it in a
He's got-
marketplace and he loved it.
He's got School of the Wolf matching pajamas.
And a little hat,
A little hat.
like night hat. All right.
Does it have a puff ball at the top?
Yes.
The way I imagine Nug sleeping is in the corner of a room, face down, directly on the floor.
With his butt in the air?
about right. Is
there a tub in this room?
Like a plank.
Oh, I was going to say folded up with his butt in the air like a little kid.
There's not like right now, but you can get one brought in.
Okay, because honestly, I would just use downpour to shower myself.
That's my
Real quick.
sleeping tub.
Well, I hope you're okay with it being wet.
Oh, I suppose.
It dries when I lay in it.
You should know Inef also sleeps in the eye patch.
The eye patch stays on.
You can either stay or you can leave, but I'm going to bathe.
Inef puts on her other
I'll
backup
go
eye
have
patch.
breakfast with our guest.
Just by yourself?
No, I'm going to join him.
With both
We
eye
wait for
patch-
Viv.
With both eye patches on?
But she's
No.
bathing.
It'll
No,
just
let
be a
Viv
minute.
Bathe quick. He said he was willing to wait. Virtues of patience.
Okay, no, go wait. I will wait outside. It'll be nice.
Can you imagine waiting to meet these people and they come out? There's a dwarf who looks, ready, and then there's a lady wearing 2 eye patches
And a wet elf.
and a wet elf.
Inef is wearing the eye patches to give Viv
Is there
privacy.
Is there a priestly looking person sitting at a table?
Because Inef is currently fixing the curls in her hair.
Oh, yeah.
Nug will give him a wave, but then I'll be like,
Viverwin's probably doing it while the conditioner sets.
hold on 1 second.
He's like,
He'll stay by the
rest
door.
of my party is women and they get ready.
Whenever you are all ready, there is, in fact, a person waiting for you. Maybe the innkeeper indicates him to you. And in typical priestly fashion, you see him sitting next to a window in a beam of sunlight with food waiting for you, and he looks like
Ooh.
Is it heavenly breakfast?
Shma.
Schmeh?
Shma.
Meh.
Schmeh. Oh,
Oh, I
Schmeh.
don't trust this man at all.
He's a thin guy.
He's a young-looking priest of Creve that you can see. His hair is worn up in like a top bun.
Oh, no.
This
he don't.
guy looks like he's going to tell me that I need to drink my coffee black or else I'm not appreciating the flavors of the bean.
I mean, to be
He's
honestly,
got a man bun and it's not cute.
to be honest, he just looks like Micah.
A little bit.
I
Is
was
he eating lemon peels?
Skeevier. I think they're potatoes.
eating lemon peels.
It looked like lemon peel.
Micah, if you're out there and you're watching this, hi.
Fuck you.
And this looks like you, and you can't tell me
We've
otherwise.
never mentioned Micah before. Do we introduce him?
We should put a little cowboy hat on him. Then he
my
would
God.
look like Micah. So he gets up and he greets all of you, and he says, "Hello, I'm Tabbert. I'm the local priest of Creve. It's nice to meet you." You see, he has these. The book says clean white robes accented with crossed red thunderbolts, the symbol of the Church of Creve.
That's not the picture.
But in the picture, it's very clearly green robes with golden thunderbolts crossed.
I don't know. I don't know what would be cooler, the white or the red with red or the green and gold.
Yeah, they both look pretty good, honestly. It would be another way.
It is awful nice to meet you.
Greetings. Sit
What do you
down.
get us for
I
breakfast?
have some food for you. You've come just as I prayed. Strong, virtuous, resourceful, just as Creve demands. Welcome to Riverbend.
Who's Creve?
The god Creve.
I don't know much about Atwin.
Oh.
But he'd love to learn.
Well, that's what I asked.
Enjoyed the onion soup and potato wedges.
Well, I love
Is it onion
onions.
soup and potato wedges?
Yeah.
There's
I
no
love
bacon?
onions and potatoes.
I want to hear of your prowess. Please tell me of your travel as you've made it here.
I
Tell me
left
your
chows
tales.
on potato wedges.
He gestures to all of you to sit down, and yes, there is like an onion soup with potato wedges. What do you guys do?
Eat.
Should we impress him with stories of our slaying the cockatrice?
Well, you tell me a bit about Creve.
Kiev?
Kiev.
Creve?
Keith. All right,
Not Keith.
Why don't you tell me a bit about Keith?
Let me be glad
Long time
to tell
party
you
joke.
about Keith.
Did you not research Keith before this? Did you not know? And we would ask a priest of Keith about Keith?
About
Listen.
Keith. Look out for Keith.
I'm Keith.
Listen, there
I'm
is
so
exactly
sorry that I did that to
one
him.
sidebar about Creve on page 207.
So it's a minor god.
The Cult of Creve is a church
Oh,
of the
the
north.
cult.
It is basically the
Oh, the
worship of
cult.
not a particular well-known sky or thunder god. The priests of Creve tend to be moralistic and did much admonishing. Unfortunately for them, some of their priests were co-opted by kings. The priest's messages centered on the divine right of kings and the efficiency of giving large contributions to the church. This did not endear them to their flocks. They then made the unfortunate move of going to Novigrad and proclaiming that the Eternal Fire was the result of Creve visiting Novigrad 100 years ago. 100 years ago, when the Cult of the Eternal Flame was a small and somewhat tolerant faith, and that was fine. Long story short,
They're part of the Church of the Flame?
no.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of an on-the-out older religion of a thunder god.
So, but it's like kings rule, and that's what they should do. Mm-hmm. And you said they're moral.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be good people.
It's your average priest.
Okay. And they expect large contributions.
Your average priest.
All right. Keith.
Keith. Look out for Keith.
Yeah, so you would know that Creve is like this thunder god. The priests of Creve tend to be more moral. It's an older religion. It's not as violent and unhinged as like the Eternal Fire.
Okay. Lawyer?
I'm glad that it's not violent and
Should I
unhinged.
put my sword away so this priest isn't, scandalized by the blood?
That's between you and Creve.
Lawyer. Oh, Keith sounds pretty all right in.
Did you say Keith?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Rothnuk
yes.
has.
Have you not heard of
Rothnuk has
Creve?
I know. I ain't ever heard of him.
Have most people?
Yes. You probably have heard of Creve.
Oh,
Never went.
Oh, yeah. The druids out in Skellig, they worship. Yeah, that's the end of my statement because I don't know what they worship.
Freya, I believe.
Freya, yeah. So I ever heard of Keith.
Oh.
I spent the most of my childhood in the woods. There are no laws there.
Well, you may not know of him, but he knows of you and watches over all of you. So
that's
long as
creepy.
you type. But please,
Ina
please enjoy
shoves
the
her
food.
face with more potato wedges when he says that.
What is it that you need?
Strange things have been happening in our village, travelers. You arrive in a time of great strife for my flock. Young people go missing at an alarming rate. We've just lost 2 recently, Macklin and Winnie, and my heart aches, as do their parents. Some evil monster, we suspect, lairs within the Alderwood, a forest that you can see just outside the village. Our rescue attempts are turned away, seemingly by witchery. Since Macklin's disappearance, Flan, his father, waits up all hours of the night looking for clues in the forest.
Did you say Flan?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
Pudding.
wrong with the name Flan?
Oh, you keep going.
Bland is gross.
It's a food.
Lies.
It's a food.
It's gross.
The elf said pudding, and that...
Elf pudding.
Elf pudding. Trauma. Elf pudding brings back trauma. Is it elf or is it pudding?
Don't know. I don't care how old I get. I will never forget elf pudding in Sunless Citadel.
Elf pudding is on the same tier as the alchemy jug with me.
Yeah.
I can never separate the two.
The internet can't make up their mind. Is it pudding for elves or is it made of elves?
All right, but keep going.
He says he hears strange noises and sees distant lights through the dense wood. And just last night, I prayed for deliverance in the form of outside aid. And Creve has delivered all of you. So,
Was that the first time that you paid for it?
yes.
Fair enough.
Though you may not know who he is, he knows who you are. We are all one field under Creve's sky.
So how young are these kids that are going missing?
Very young. Or very young, not quite full adults.
Like, are you saying them?
16, 17
Oh,
years
so
old.
they're not children. They're teenagers.
Yes.
Are you sure they ain't just running away?
Oh, why would they?
Oh.
Teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
And what kind of witchery is going on in the woods whenever you's trying to go inside of it?
We even hired a professional forester to guide us through the dense alderwood, and he apparently just ended up right back where he started.
Oh, so it's the kind of thing where you just go in, but when you go in, you just come out, and it's confusing.
We don't know. Yes, I guess. But at the same time, we suspect they've gone in there and they haven't reemerged.
Why is you thinking Day's gone in?
I mean,
Are there footprints?
Have you trapped them in there? Have you seen one go in?
Is there evidence?
well, we went down the road to the next village, Saints Crossing. They weren't there. There was no evidence of them going there. The forest surrounds our settlement, and that with us not being able to navigate it and the strange lights and sounds we see some nights, it gives us the impression that
Do I know anything about this? Would I be able to roll
Are
anything
they
about
having
this?
a party?
Just a very clever rave.
No, there's nothing you can roll right now.
And you said you strongly suspect some kind of beastie. Have you found any tracks or seen a beast or anything alike?
No, not yet. Nothing but just the strange sights and lights and sounds that we've heard some nights. But
As monsters can make sounds. All right.
I do have a question. Could I roll wilderness survival to see if I know anything natural that could cause lights in the forest or something like that?
sure.
It's a stretch, but I'm gonna try it. 14.
14, I mean, it could be like fireflies. Maybe if he's been up late a bunch of different nights, he could be hallucinating. You would, with that kind of roll, I would say you get the sense that, like, they probably did go into the woods. That makes enough sense to you. It would be easy enough to go the other way and track down, like, to see if they'd gone to another village. So they probably did. If they wandered, they probably did go into the woods.
Okay. And I can't think of anything significant that would cause lights or such in the woods.
No.
Okay.
I inherently think will-o-wisps.
I mean, this guy lives next to the woods. He'd know the difference between like fireflies and scary lights.
Yeah.
And I suppose the other important question is, I mean, we's be glad to help, but not for free. How much would you be offering us?
If you can bring Macklin and Winnie safe back to us, we will pay you 200 crowns. And should you slay the monster holding them hostage, I'll see that you are paid 200 additional crowns for your heroic deed. Does that sound fair to you, travelers?
Only 200 crowns for a life of your children's? Do you not value them?
We are but poor, humble peasants.
I would just think you put more on a child's life in 100 crowns.
That's enough.
Do you want to haggle?
When is Nug not haggled?
Nug is a beast.
What do I need to roll? Because it's all going to be bad.
Here's the question. Did you guys tell him any stories?
I asked, shouldn't we tell him about the cockatrice?
Because it doesn't sound like you did.
I suppose we didn't, like, mention it, but Kat
I did specifically mention, shouldn't we tell him about the cockatrice? I just never got the chance to role play it.
Then go ahead and make a persuasion or business roll.
I will have Nug do that because...
He's the one who talked about it.
Not only that, it seems that my party members were not too keen on Nug doing this in the first place.
200 crowns is a lot of money.
For a little town.
Yeah.
It's a quiet
So
village.
it's persuasion.
If I was going to ask for anything, I'd
For
ask for
what?
some components for the
Business.
sword I want to build.
Persuasion
You know,
it
basic
is.
stuff, not money.
Come on, Nug, you have yet to fail this.
Come on.
18!
Not bad.
That's actually not bad.
Nug rolled a 9.
You got a 9. Fail. It always happens because you fail and fumble your rolls. Come on.
Actually, this isn't opposed.
Oh.
18.
Yeah.
You're able to get 50 crowns bonus.
I could feel a love for your children's through this amount of money you've promised.
Inef
fine,
is
I'll
doing
throw
the
in
awkward
50 more crowns.
fiddling with her thumbs.
He avoids eye contact with either of his teammates and shakes the
bone
priest's
contact.
hand.
Blooming.
Inef Piers takes up the little eye patch to give you a glare.
And he shakes the man's
Puts it
hand.
back down.
That's 250 crowns, or rather, 125 per child, and 200 if we kill the monster.
Yes.
And what are the children's name?
Macklin
And Winnie.
Winnie.
and Winnie.
These kids play lacrosse.
But Inef was very interested in helping, children, teenagers, children.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Well, especially kids. She got left in the woods as a kid. She wants to help other
Okay,
kids.
yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
They're in the woods. She doesn't know if they're safe. What if they don't meet somebody who saves their life?
To kill, now this is important, to kill the monster who took them, or to kill whoever took them?
The beast holding them hostage,
All right.
I believe was the exact phrase.
Beast.
Did we save the cockatrice head?
Hostage.
We killed it.
We killed the beastie.
We've slayed the monster.
Oh God, what if we get there and there's just a bunch of statues?
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, we'd find the children.
We could still bring back the staff. Oh, could you imagine how terrible that would be? Just tell them their bodies were never found.
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh, we found them. We could even bring
Okay.
the children back.
Is a body meat? Does it have to be meat to be a body?
It is them. Their them has just been turned to stone.
This is terrible. We should move on.
This is
Yeah, let's
impractical.
go.
Let's
go.
Don't get stoned, kids.
Don't get stoned. Save your meat.
All right. So what do you want to do now? You've negotiated with him. How are you going to start this?
I ate lots of the food.
The food's actually pretty good. Onion soup's pretty good in the morning.
We'll just get started, I suppose. Is there anyone that you've got in your town that's seen any of the children right before they went missing?
Well, I mean, we have the parents, Macklin's family, Flan and Gita. They live, and he points out the house within the town. And then Venetia, who is Winnie's mother.
Is that Forrester at you are still here?
I'm afraid not. That was a little, almost a week ago.
Well, if you guys wouldn't mind it, I suppose we could go talk to Flan and whoever else was there.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you
yes.
so much. I
Let's
will
head out at
continue
once.
to stay in the temple and pray for their swift return.
Oh, all right.
May Creve guide you.
Oh, hey, by the way, can you do me healing magic if we get hurt?
You already negotiated more money out of
Well,
him.
I ain't trying to get money. If I'm just saying, if we get hurt, he's a priest, and priests can do that kind of stuff, right?
Of course I can. Absolutely.
All right.
For a fee?
Did you just knock? I could do that.
Let's go talk to some grieving parents.
That's DM4. I wasn't given a stat block. You just go to the Church of Creve with a broken leg and he has band-aids.
Some
rubbing
Neosporin.
alcohol.
You
Yeah.
puts a band-aid on you.
That's basically magic. All right, let's go speak to Flan.
So you go to Flan's house. This is the morning still. When you go there, you see Flan and his wife, Gita. Maybe the priest Tabert goes with you and introduces you to them. What do you want to ask them? Yes, sir.
Or tell me about your kids.
This Flan looks like bloodshot eyes.
Are they both his children, or it was one of
Only
them?
one.
his
There were
One
two
of them
sets
was
of parents.
Macklin was his son.
Oh, tell us about Macklin.
He's a sweet lad. His room, when we found it, was undisturbed. He's a kind young man. I don't know what's going on about it. Does anyone want to make a human perception?
I just added a point to human perception.
Charisma.
Or control.
I'll do charisma.
Charisma?
I'll do human perception. I didn't roll well, though. I got an 11.
You can actually make a human perception, charisma, persuasion, or seduction roll.
Nug made an 18 charisma.
I thought you were about
How
to
is
say an 18
Nugs
seduction.
better?
You said charisma, right? You did say
Human
mention that.
perception, charisma,
Yeah, okay,
persuasion,
okay.
or seduction. So what was yours, Ineth?
11.
Nug was 18?
18.
Are you saying anything? And I imagine, Viver, when you're also glamored going into
Yeah.
this, right? Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just out here looking real hot and trustworthy.
You'd just be like, what's really going on?
I want to
Throw
ask.
the hip with your son, lean on a door frame.
I want to ask
Thrust hip to
specifically.
side, dislocates hip. What's going on?
I want to ask specifically if Macklin seemed happy, like kids run away and stuff like that. Did Macklin seem happy?
Oh, yes, of course he did. And what did you ask specifically, Nug?
Was he acting weird, or had he been saying anything that different, or anything of the sort? Anything that stands out?
Because you rolled higher, you saying this to him, he just kind of, this man looks exhausted, but he kind of shuffles back and forth on his feet. And he says, the day before he disappeared, we had a bit of words with each other. You see, he's got an arranged marriage to Winnie coming up, and he weren't for it, the boy. He weren't to his will. I just figured he has cold feet, typical for a young lad of his age. I didn't expect him to just disappear like that.
And
Not only that, but with Winnie.
Yes.
or at least at the same time. Did any
that's
of
interesting.
his friends from a village go missing before him?
Yes, are these the first children to disappear?
From this village, but there's been other rumors of people missing from Saints Crossing and Bartok Barrow as well.
Did he know any of them?
I had not to my knowledge, no, sir.
So you had a fight and he went missing.
And if you want to talk about Winnie's mother, is Venetia, she's across the way over there.
Is it just her?
It is just her, yeah.
Okay.
She lost her husband in the last war.
Oh, it's a shame. Good, yeah.
Thunderbolt of Creve.
Keith, bless.
Keith bless.
Keith, bless. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. I hope he's okay.
And I kind of hate to say this or ask this because it's a bit of a rude question, but I'm going to do it anyway. When you add words, did you also have hands?
Nay, sir. It was a heated argument, but it were only words.
Aye,
He's my
all
son.
right.
I wouldn't lay hands on him like that.
While we're talking to him,
Dang, Nug has balls.
is the mother doing anything or looking extremely uncomfortable?
No, she just looks sad.
Okay, so she's not like, doesn't ever do that thing where she looks at the husband and is like, why are you saying that? Oh, wait, I should play it cool.
No, she just looks broken up.
Like-
He's
like
the
a
only. Yeah, he's
Distraught
more.
mom.
Yeah, he's the only one who can more keep it together during all
Okay.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's not being quiet because she doesn't she's just that upset.
Was his
right.
room missing anything? Was he?
Nay, madam. If you go
packed up?
to his room and you look in his room, it is just like perfectly neat, normal.
He's not like his main items are missing.
I go through where his clothes are.
I mean, there's like.
Is he missing clothes?
Notably a few outfits.
Yeah.
It's not like his drawers are full.
It is a poor village.
But his parents would know.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe there's a couple like shirts or pants missing, but most of his stuff is still here. There's not like a whole suitcase's worth on him.
Did you happen to have a coin stash somewhere that he might have taken with him when he left?
Or been missing any food lately? That's
No.
been snatched by critters or something.
Not that we can see.
It doesn't appear that he
Doesn't
Ran
look like
away.
he done
he planned to leave and packed up.
He didn't RUNNOFT.
What?
He didn't run off.
Stupid.
Let's go talk to Winnie's mother.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
One more thing, sir, Mr. Flan. Is your boy familiar with the woods that people are be thinking that the kid's missing into?
I mean, he's played in the outskirts as much as any other child, but I don't know if he's ventured deep into them primordial woods, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. If we find anything, we'll let you know.
Not silent nodding. Then there's the option in your dialogue to ask if you
No
want to play,
Gwent.
if you want to play Gwent.
Or best wishes.
No Gwent.
Doug reaches for the selection, is dragged away by his friend.
I nab him by his
and,
scruff.
INF kind of slaps his wrist.
No, we're fine. That's
We're
all.
good. Thank you.
Do you want to play Gwent?
So
good,
you,
thank you.
you make your way over to Venetia's house, and you knock on the door, and her eyes are also just bloodshot and super puffy. You can tell that she's been
Poor baby.
crying
Slap
like
her
a
across
lot.
the face. No.
Do you want to play
Snap
Gwent?
out of it.
Is you the mother of Winifred?
Yes, I am Winnie's mother. She just is like incomprehensible. You can't hardly understand what she's saying. She's just at her on her doorstep, sobbing.
I got that.
Can
Listen,
I give her a comforting hug?
Nug knows how to handle hysterical people.
Wham!
Oyer, I need you to stop crying so we can help you.
He's so mean.
Do you want to? Does anyone want to roll a charisma check? Nug, I'll let you roll it at a -4.
I offered to give her a comforting hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I lead her to a chair to sit down opposite of her and have a
Yeah,
conversation?
why don't you and Ineth both roll?
Yeah, charisma.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll
have
still roll.
none, but I'm going to try
Still
it.
roll at a -4.
17.
I got a 9.
Oh my god.
At a -4, it's an 11, so it's still not a fumble.
Beat me. I offered to be comforting.
Viverwin. Yeah, maybe you just read the situation right. You lead her to a like rocking chair in her living room and sit her down, and she starts collecting herself.
I know that it's difficult, but I need you to be as helpful as you can be to us so that we can help your daughter come back.
That's what I said.
My daughter Winnie, she's my only treasure. Her pa, he died in the war. We have no card. She is all I have left of him. I have no idea. She run off. It must be some monster. Why else would she run off?
Well,
She also gives you a basic description of like her appearance as well.
Heard from Max?
Flan.
Macklin's parents.
Macklin. Yes, we heard from Macklin's parents that there was an arranged marriage.
Yes, it is true. I don't think he desired her for anything other than her womanly virtue. Maybe he stole off with her to the forest to commit some sin, and they were both captured the monster.
I gotta punch him now.
well, hold on, because he didn't seem, ma'am, or it seems as though Macklin wasn't too keen on an arranged marriage. What was Winnie's opinion on the matter?
I don't know. I just didn't seem too upset about she didn't talk about it much.
Did she like Macklin? Or was he like, because, kids come home, they talk about what's happening. Was Macklin ever bully her? Did she just not care for him? Were they friends but didn't want to go to
They
a
were
relationship
friends.
level of anything, or, that kind of stuff?
I think they were pretty good friends, at least when they were younger.
Was whenever Winnie disappeared, did she have anything in her room that's missing? Was there any money from your purse or something missing?
Nay, not that I've seen.
Have you checked? Have you went through where she keeps her clothes and made sure there ain't much missing or anything like that?
Nay, I haven't done much, no.
Why don't we go take a look in Winnie's room and just make sure there ain't nothing missing?
Yeah, so you go and look, and it's the same situation. It's relatively made up. There's maybe a couple changes of clothes missing, but nothing like someone was packing to travel across the country or anything.
And you ain't gone missing any food?
Nay. So what do you want to do?
Let's go out to the forest.
Yeah, like they're
Let's just
not
go.
giving us
Let's
any
just go.
info. Let's
This
go.
rate, I really don't know much about what else we could do except go to the forest.
Yeah, so the forest, again, like there's wooded areas all across like this farming community, but the forest they're talking about, it kind of envelops around it, like it's kind of nestled into a little nook of it. And that's beyond just the surface level forest that's connected to it. It's like a primordial, wild forest beyond just the human
Ancient.
touched parts. So you're able to get into it. As you go in, make me a wilderness survival roll.
Can do.
Oh boy.
Inef takes a deep breath and smells the forest.
+6.
I got a
Here we
17,
go.
as did Vithoin.
I got an 8.
17 for you and Viverwin. Nug has no idea. So maybe you find some small trails leading in, and you quickly make your way towards the more denser
We need to look
primeval.
out for Makeout Overlook.
Do we see any signs of the teenagers?
Yeah.
So as you make your
Her
way
womanly
in
virtues.
to the Alderwood forest, I actually have some art for it.
I'm going to castrate this guy.
He hasn't done anything.
If he's just going to fuck this chick.
But we don't know that. It's just a mom
It's
talking.
the Witcher universe. It's a bad time to be a young female.
It sounded like he didn't want to get married in the first place.
Maybe she's not pretty enough for the jerk.
As you're going into this forest, it's only about midday, but it gets noticeably darker and gloomier.
Oh, this is right spooky.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, that is right spooky.
That's beautiful. It
looks like
good color.
Looks like
very
the kind
blue,
of image
but
I would
bad.
have used for the Force of 1,000 Legs.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I am mad that I didn't find this image for that adventure.
Probably
like
didn't exist.
Foggy and shadowy.
as you go deeper and deeper in, the air almost becomes thick. And Nug, your medallion does start to jingle.
Wait, what the?
I need you all to roll me resist magic checks.
My medallion.
Nug doesn't even know what to do, does he?
He doesn't know what this means.
Okay,
though,
I rolled a
imagine.
15.
24.
24.
15. Ooh, you got a critical.
Nug and Ineth fail.
Oh no.
And I have no luck to spend.
Viverwind succeeds though with a critical. So what happens is you're walking through the forest. You're walking through the woods. There's no one around and your phone is dead.
Phone is dead. And out of the corner of your eye, you see him, Shia LaBeouf. Let's go. Come on. What do we see?
You see him about 30 yards back,
Oi, is that Stanley Yonuts?
running for your life from Shia LaBeouf.
Or what's his name for Transformers?
Eating all the
You see,
bodies.
you see that like Nug and Ineth look like they're following you and just start veering off. And you're able to catch them and pull them back on track.
Hey, what?
Oh, what's
And
that
to you
over
guys,
there?
it's like Ineth was, or it looks like Viverwind was in front of you the whole time, and then just like reality warps in front of you, and she's turning around and like pulling you back on the trail.
Oofta. What was that?
Hey, Viverwin, do you know what this means? And he holds up the medallion from his neck.
That's
And
what,
it's
shaking?
Mm-hmm. It's shaking.
I'm going to cup it and hold it up and just let it sort of vibrate in my palm for a minute.
Did
Something is here.
our
Something
wit-
magical.
Oh, is that what? Oh, it means magic's going on.
You did.
I
Okay.
asked him.
Don't
He
know
said
much
I'd
about
learn.
magic, you know.
Okay. Well, congratulations, you've learned.
What was that magic?
Did it not feel like magic, Ineth?
I don't know what magic feels like.
You know what? That's fair.
You're able to
I'm
pull
about
everyone
as magic as a doorknob.
with you, and you find this like, after wandering through just wilderness for a little bit, you stumble upon a worn trail leading through the woods, and you come upon a clearing, and you see in this clearing covered wagons, and you see the backsides of some crescent-shaped building, and from behind it there's this like smoke cloud rising, like as if from some sort of fireplace, and you hear a loud voice rumble from out behind it.
It seems we have guests.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
That sounds bad. Fuck.
Come back for the Spooky Wood Show next week.
It's spooky.
It's spooky. Something spooky.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Third Gallon Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing us. If you want to see more from us, check out our website, thirdgallon.com, or follow us on Twitter. We are at Third Gallon, that's THIRD Gallon. You can also tweet at us using the hashtag Third Gallon, and we are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook with the same handle, at Third Gallon. We also publish a video version of this podcast on YouTube, which you can find on our channel, The Third Gallon. Our ambience for this episode was composed by Michael Ghelfi, and you can find more of his work at youtube.com/Michael Ghelfi Music, and you can support his awesome work at patreon.com/Michael Ghelfi. Our theme music for this season was composed by Alexander Nakarada. You can find more of his work at serpentsoundstudios.com and support him at patreon.com/A Nakarada. That's patreon.com/ANAKARADA. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.